My name is Trevor Doornbos. I'm the Sales Director for Asia Pacific and US West for Aprika Business Solutions. And today we're going to be taking you through mission control, some existing customers and some prospective customers on the call. So great to see that. The chat is open all the way through the session. So if you've got any questions, please, happy to make this interactive. We are recording the session, so if I skip over something quick and you miss it, we'll send you that recording after the session. So if you have a look at the Q&A, you can add any questions as we go through. My background, I've been with Aprika for over a year. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem since 2014 and in many software companies. And I come from a background of professional services and consulting and quite used to working with PSA solutions. Quick history on mission control. So Aprika is the company. We've started in 2010 as a Salesforce consulting partner, and as companies who are working on Salesforce started building out some custom objects, which eventuated as a product, which was launched on AppExchange. We've been on AppExchange about 9 years now, organically grown over that time. A lot of great customers on there, and we're all over the world. So we're headquartered here in Australia with a lot of our staff here on the east coast of Australia, stretching from Melbourne through to Brisbane, development team in the US, CTO in the west coast of the US, and we've got a lot of coverage there. I always like to mention one of the companies at the top there, Brands. They're headquartered in Wellington, New Zealand, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes from where I grew up as a kid, and they've been using mission control for several years. And one of the key things that came from Chris Liddens at Brands was they've been using mission control, and after about the first year, 6 to 12 months, the key result they found is that 50 project managers were getting back about 4 business days a month from having to do things manually, having separate spreadsheets. Recently, Chris told us that they can directly attribute 30% increase in productivity through the use of mission control. So probably good lessons learned there. We listed on G2 software comparison site at the beginning of 2021, asked our customers to go and leave us some very honest reviews there, and we were extremely pleasantly surprised with what came out of that. Obviously not just the awards, but that overall feedback. I think it sort of blew us away, and we did do a bit of a double take because our net promoter score was so high. But that is based on actual customer reviews, and we're extremely proud of that. A little bit about mission control. We started off on Salesforce, so we're built native on Salesforce. So when people ask that question about how do you integrate, are you integrated in Salesforce? When you download mission control into Salesforce from Salesforce AppExchange, our custom objects, our managed package goes into Salesforce at the same level of your own object. So you're able to leverage all those capabilities within Salesforce, add your own validation rules, approval processes, and leverage all those Salesforce reports and dashboards, and have that one single sign-on system, so not having to go to different places to do things. From a licensing support perspective, we're what's called an ISV Force application, which means that you do need a Salesforce license to use mission control. So we're built on top of Salesforce, and we'll support everything from a platform license and up. So certainly, if you've already got Salesforce licenses, well done. If you need additional licenses, then talk to your Salesforce account exec. What's in mission control, and what is a PSA solution? So PSA is professional services automation. So when we look at mission control, it's not just project management, it's not just resource management, it's everything that a professional services type business needs to operate. And we knew that from the outset as Aprika Business Solutions, because that's how we formed. The past 4, I think maybe 5 years, we're focused as 100% as a software company. We no longer do that Salesforce implementation consulting, and we certainly eat our own cooking. We use mission control. I use mission control every day. So what's in the solution? Resource management, everything you need from knowing your resource availability, including recently we added holiday management. For those customers who've been with us a while, holiday management, managing your accruals, all those sorts of things built into the solution now. From a project management perspective, been able to create a project from an opportunity straight off, but also been able to do it from other Salesforce objects. So I'll take you through the opportunity creation of a project, And if we get time, we can talk about project requests as well. Back when I was a project manager, I used to use Microsoft Project, albeit not that well. I don't believe I ever created a project from scratch. I always copied another one or borrowed bits from other projects. And you can do the same thing with mission control. You can certainly build out your projects and create your templates so you can reuse those over and over. You can also clone projects. You can also load milestones from other projects. So it's certainly a great capability. Get a lot of use for that. Questions we get asked: is mission control a Prince 2 certified? Is it waterfall? Is it agile? Is it Scrum? The longer answer, which I'll turn into a short answer, it's pretty much everything. So I'm going to be taking you through a waterfall style project, but certainly we use mission control internally in our development team for an agile approach to our release cycle. We actually use mission control to develop the 3 releases a year for mission control. All the different styles, the ways you want to work with projects under management style, will cover a lot of those. Time tracking, all important, billable, non-billable, using timers, having built-in approvals. If you've got integration into Google or Outlook calendars, actually using calendar converters, you can log time off Outlook events. Full project financial management. So certainly I'll be going through and showing you a fixed price milestone billing project, but we cover all aspects of being able to build out of a project and capturing all those costs. As I mentioned, we use mission control to develop mission controls. They're not covered today, but we do full program management. So gathering requirements, getting the user stories, putting those into backlog, priority backlog, and then getting those into the sprints and managing those. I will be covering some of those tools. From a collaboration perspective, we're built on Salesforce, of course, so we leverage Tata quite heavily. Show you a couple of status reports, including our new read-only page from our September release. And if we get time, I'll cover off Meeting Manager. The productivity tools that I'll be covering off around the Kanban whiteboard, the action pad, we'll touch on the risk log and the issue log. And as I said, the Q&A is open at any time, so please feel free to jump in with a question. It's something I will be covering off. I might mention that, otherwise I'll try and answer as we go. So what are we going to see today, apart from mission control? What am I going to cover off? So I'm going to take you on a bit of a tour, if you like. So I'm going to start off with something familiar with dashboards and reporting with Salesforce. We'll cover off a couple of things like our PMO dashboard, a Gantt chart. I might bring utilization further up on the screen. And then what I'm going to do is a bit of a day in the life. So creating a project from an opportunity, allocating a resource, getting that resource to log some time, mark an action complete, and then see the impact that has on the project in kicking off a billing event, being able to generate an invoice and show that whole cycle all happening in one place. We'll touch on the scheduler, walk through the scheduler, being able to see resource availability and workloads, and then we'll deep dive into a project. So I've got everything switched on in this demo account. So if you've been using Mission Control for a while, keep your eye out. There's going to be some features there you haven't seen before. And again, like I said, any questions you have, please feel free to sing out. So we should be seeing my Mission Control console. So when we download Mission Control into our Salesforce org, it's like in any other app in Salesforce, we've got our Mission Control app. I've also got my Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud. I've got my community. No, I'm stuck here in Mission Control. I can obviously configure this view to the various types of roles, various types of users I have in my organization. We do ship with about, I think it's a dozen permission sets, Salesforce permission sets, so you can clone and configure those to give that specific access. So like I said, I've got everything switched on. So probably one of the first things you do as a new customer is switch off the things you don't need today. Do that crawl, walk, run approach and get things that you really need to be successful. You can add on the nice to haves as you go along. If you look across the top of my screen, I've got a whole lot of tabs open. That's going to be the demo flow, trying to work through all of those. If we get some questions, I'm happy to deep dive where we can. Now, I might start on my console. So what we've done with the design and Mission Control is to keep it as simple as possible, give the UI a look and feel that people are used to seeing when they're working with Salesforce, and not force you to go to different places to do everything. So one of the things you'll notice pretty quickly, I've got a persistent menu at the bottom of my screen. where I can pop up and start logging time. I can search for my project, what action I'm working on, time log type, and I can do that there. I can do the same for expenses and other items. You might notice at the right-hand side of my screen, I've got a little pop-out menu. I've got my trackpad. So that's going to be available on a lot of screens. So I can see my chatter feed, timeline, and bring chatters available all the way through solution. What's actually been happening, very familiar if you've been working with Salesforce. And there's another place I can log time, add risks, actions, what have you. If I want to create a project from scratch, maybe it's the first time I've logged in. Maybe I'll just call this webinar 1, and I'll call this milestone 1. You can tell that wasn't auto added if I want to add any more. And I can launch a project. Now, the first thing I'd need to do once I've got my milestone is add some actions, and we'll cover off that as we go through. So I can go to create actions up here very quickly. And I'm not going to go too deep into this. This is more to see, hey, how do I actually get started with mission control? I notice some people quite often go into the test drive. They haven't read the PDF on how to create actions and start a project. So I might say, let's go milestone 1. Let's call this action 1. Let's give that 8 billable hours, maybe 1 non-billable hour. Let's start it on Friday and let's finish it on Friday. And let's give it to Trevor, because he's not doing much. There's a whole lot of other fields. I don't need to fill all these fields in. And hey presto, I've got a project. I've got an action. The structure, my work breakdown structure, is my project. Under my project overview, I've got my milestone and my action, and I can also have checklist items, which I'll show you shortly. So you can already see a few things that happen. You probably notice there's a lot of tabs, but we'll come back to that. If you want to copy from other projects, I mentioned, you want to copy, clone, you can clone other projects here. A role in mission control, that's the person, that's your end user. That's someone who's actually going to be allocated to work. Now, if it is an end user who's interacting with mission control, they will need a Salesforce license. You allocate that. You can also have what I call placeholder roles, which I'll show you, or you might want to include your clients to get notifications, even though they're not logging onto the system. You just add them as a Salesforce contact. I can obviously group my people into teams. For example, I could be in the Sydney team, the sales team, the Australia team, we want another holiday soon team, and skill libraries. So any level of skills, certifications, capabilities, whether they have renewal dates or otherwise, we can build that in. We have full holiday management, so you can put in all your public holidays, personal leave, all those types of things. It's also the progress pad, where we'll go in later, we'll touch on the whiteboard, I'll show you the timesheet, action pad, issue and risk log, and then the management. And again, from an access at the role level, individually at the role, you can determine what can people see, what can they do, or you assign them to a permission set. So maybe they don't ever see the control pad over here or the management pad. We're going to work through that. So when we look at things like dashboards, and just realize I haven't got my dashboard open there, very remiss. I've got about 4 dashboards I've set up, and these are Salesforce dashboards using Salesforce reports with mission control metrics. So if you're using Salesforce, that should be quite familiar to you. Obviously, if I want to work through, see what's happening, I can drill through into my various dashboards. Maybe I want to go and see, well, let's go have a look at these projects that are actually over project budget. So let's drill into the actual report. So I'm not going outside the system, I'm still in Salesforce. And then maybe you want to go have a look at, let's drill into Acme website build. So straight into that project. And we can see that same structure there, milestones, actions, and checklists. I'm going to come back to that if someone would like more information on dashboards. A feature we added for a Canadian customer who was building a PMO office, and they wanted to have a PMO dashboard, so we built it into the solution for them. So let's see how we're performing. I've got about 5 projects here I want to show in my PMO dashboard, and I want to track the cost performance and the schedule performance. So for cost performance, 1 is ideal. It means the margin is what we set it to be at the beginning of the project, and schedule is the same. So 1, we're actually on track. So we can see that across all 5 projects. If I look at my demo project, Ace Labs Roadshow, I can see the master cost performance is 79, because requirements looks like we didn't do too well. We did okay on schedule. We did okay in the client approval. We went backwards. Document requirements we made up some. But yeah, that's actually impacted the project a bit. If I want to chatter people, I can chatter people from here. If I need to get more resources working on that, I can do that here as well. If I want to compare that to a previous month, so maybe let's go back to around the same time last month. See, are we going backwards? Are we going forwards? Well, we've gone a little bit backwards in cost and a little bit backwards in schedule. So this is something we can keep on top of. We're not having to wait till the end of the month. We can do this daily and weekly. We also track revenue recognition. I can touch on this if that's important to people when we get to the project. Utilization is always very important for a lot of people. So things we do out of the box, or let's do that from team. I just want to have a look at my internal consultants and have a look at their performance for, I think I've got some data in here for October. And I can see how my people have been performing. So I'm tracking this into 4 types of time. I've got my billable, non-billable, excluded might be things such as training, what have you, and any holiday. If I scroll down, I can see Andrea, my favorite consultant, always at the top there. She works 40-hour weeks. She's right on the money for her utilization for what she's supposed to work. And I've also set a billable target. So based on her availability, which is 80%, on a full week, that'd be 32 hours, we can see a billable performance. So all these metrics can be extracted from here as well and rolled up by team. And anywhere you see a little CSV icon, you can push that out into CSV or Excel. We have the concept of Gantt Chart anywhere. So what does that mean? Yes, we have a fantastic interactive Gantt chart, so good that other software providers would like to use it. And not only is that available under the individual project, but I've just got a filter at the top here. I said, show me everything for my ACE customer. I've got about 6 projects I just want to have a look at quickly. And I can track where they're up to. You see lab systems running a bit behind. Logistics is going way ahead. And I've got 2 new projects starting here. And if I want to drill into those, I can go right down into that work breakdown structure. So I can see where we're up to. Yeah, these are complete, and we've got the client approval. We're ready to start the design. So fantastic. My structure, project, milestone, action. If I want to see the checklist items, if I have any. Okay, we'll see that in one of our other projects. If you want to add your own fields or there's certain fields you want to see, you can do that here and add your own custom fields as well. So let's go through a bit of a day in the life. I'm going to start with an opportunity, should be reasonably familiar. This is the standard Salesforce opportunity page layout. When you install Mission Control, and that literally takes about half an hour. I kid you not. Downloading Mission Control from App Exchange into your sandbox, about half an hour. Part of that half an hour is adding a section called project generation, including these 4 fields to include that automation. I've used this before. I literally had a demonstration earlier. So let me just reset that. And we're ready to go. We've gone through negotiation review. We're ready to close one. I could simply come here and tick generate project and create my project. I've got a number of ways I can create a project. I've got the opportunity method, which for this example, I'm going to take my whole fixed price milestone billing implementation template and create a project. But I've also got 2 or 3 other methods I can use, quite flexible. I've set my start date. I've got my budget. So the only piece of non-standard function in this is I've got a little Salesforce process builder that when I click close one, it's going to tick that generate project. And that will click here in the related list. There's our webinar project. And let's deep dive and have a look at that. So straight off, very similar structure. You know, it's got a whole lot of tabs open here. We'll cover off those later.